when I get this in, man, and the way this show is going, I'm going to tell you something. When those producers, Tyler, and all those guys got together today, they were feeling feisty. Chris, all of them, they were like, wow, we got one here. We going to have them stuck all day. We got Harbaugh, Belichick. Skip, y'all were feeling feisty in there. But let me give you this, how I see this. Because what a great question this is when we look at what we currently have in the situation as it is now. If you tell me, we're pulling the quarterback off the current situations, and we don't know what their current situation. We don't know what team they're playing with, what team they're playing for. We don't know what players they're playing with. And we're just pulling them out. Which quarterback would you pick? I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes. One of the greatest to ever do. Okay. I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes. I can put Patrick Mahomes in any offense. And I've known that for years when you watch him play. He can do anything at any place in the game. Now, when you put him up against Lamar Jackson, in their current situations, him with Kansas City in that defense, those receivers, his tight end, Lamar with this new offense, his receivers, his defense. I'm taking Lamar Jackson in their current situations right now because what Patrick Mahomes gave me all those years was sitting in the pocket, always trying to deliver that ball to some explosive hand, a wide receiver, tight end, a running back, and he did that. Now, he's still delivering the ball. Some less explosive hands than what he's had, and sometimes they're missing his passes and not quite as reliable as they have been in the past. Now, Lamar Jackson now is starting to do that, and he's been doing that all year. I've talked about it right here all year. I said he's doing that Patrick Mahomes thing. But the one thing Lamar Jackson has over Patrick Mahomes in these current situations is Patrick Mahomes is always looking when he's in trouble or when he's scrambling to throw the ball to get it to somebody that's explosive. Lamar Jackson, when he's scrambling, looking to throw the ball to get it to somebody who's explosive, if he can, it's already in the hands of somebody that's explosive. And bam, now he's gone. Boom, now he's gone. And it's a whole different thing. Patrick can still hurt you moving the ball. But once he take off, that ain't explosiveness. He may get big gain yards here, may gain yards there. But boy, when Lamar Jackson goes off, that could be a 95-yard touchdown if you're not careful. That's the difference between the two. And in the current situation, why I say, come on, Lamar. You have proven that you're no longer a running back. I'll take you over the top quarterback as he is coming Sunday.
Okay? Skip, I need you to rephrase the question because I completely forgot it.
Okay, which quarterback do you trust the most this Sunday?
Trust most.
Yeah, trust to have the bigger game and the bigger moments.
Man, Michael's right. Y'all put this thing together with a couple guys.
They were working over there. They were working over there. And Lamar must win this game. I don't care nothing. Lamar got to win this game. This is a legacy game on both sides. Patrick Mahomes on the road winning his first. Lamar Jackson, you're here now, buddy. You said you wanted to be here. You're a top passer, and you got a pass-first offense. You got to win this game.
I believe Lamar Jackson will have the bigger game at the most crucial moments because he has to. His AFC Championship game at home, he went home with the #1 seed in 2019. He has learned from that mistake, those mistakes back in 2019. Although he played good at times in those games, but this is different. It's his time to arrive. Right. Patrick Mahomes is already there. Now, This is one of those Mahomes chasing Brady, Jackson chasing Mahomes. If he, like all of us, for the most part, the smart guys have predicted, he's probably going to win the MVP. He now has an opportunity to have 2 to Patrick's 2. Patrick will have 2 Super Bowls. And if Lamar goes and takes them to the Super Bowl and wins it, he gets the 1. So he's chasing Patrick Mahomes now. It's so crucial in crucial situations because this is not going to be a blowout. This is not going to be a blowout game. I think I had it 31-27.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good guess.
It's going to be close. In the moments that these type of quarterbacks that we talk about so much, whether it's the Troy Aikmans of the world or the Patrick Mahomeses or the Tom Bradys, the guys that we've seen for many years, the Joe Montanas, for those that have seen Joe play. Fourth quarter, late in game winning situations and drives, setting up field goals or go-ahead touchdowns. Those are the big shining moments that Lamar has yet to have in playoff football. Patrick Mahomes, he has that. He has the walk-off 13 seconds of Tyreek Hill deuces up.
Right.
He has that moment.
Right.
So if Patrick Mahomes, if Lamar Jackson, Skip, could duplicate some of that, it will allow him to have the bigger game. I'm not going to argue with you, or not even argue with you, have a communication with you about who throws the ball better. And that doesn't mean anything. In this situation, can you complete the ball?
Nope.
Can you convert third downs and fourth downs when you need to? Can you do, as I've been told, quarterback's job is to do one thing: get your team into the end zone. Can Lamar Jackson get his team into the end zone more times than Patrick Mahomes? In this particular game, Skip, I believe he can.
Okay. I hear both of you, and I actually like both of your answers. And I will confess, I came up with this question, and yet I wanted the question to be even deeper and better and go for the throat. I wanted the question to be, right here, right now, would you take Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson going forward? Well, even I'm not the biggest Mahomes guy, as you guys know. It's almost like Belichick versus Harbaugh to me.
Really?
But
we didn't know that?
Yeah. Okay, so here's the point. I can't argue Lamar over Patrick right now because Lamar just hasn't done enough. He's still 2-3 in the postseason. I can't defend that. I can't argue that against everything Patrick has accomplished. Keyshawn knows Michael wasn't here yesterday, but we went back and forth about the 3 Super Bowls. I don't think Patrick has had a signature, spectacular Super Bowl game, but he won 2 out of 3, and I give it up. You did that. You've only averaged 266 yards passing. You still haven't had a 300-yard passing game in a Super Bowl, but you won 2 out of 3. You've been to, 6 straight AFC Championship games. I can't take that away. I can't discount. I can't argue against it. It's insane. It's great. I give it up. But I love me some Lamar Jackson because my eye test tells me I love what he's made of. I love his grit. I love his guts. I love his leadership. He is a baller of a quarterback, and I don't often put baller and quarterback in the same sentence, but Lamar just balls out. When it's time to play, when it's time to make the play, however he's got to make it, he'll just make the play. But he hasn't done it at the highest level against the greatest competition consistently because I don't have a body of work here. I'm going on eye test this year. This season has belonged to Lamar Jackson, and I believe this game ultimately will belong to Lamar Jackson. And I give you, his defense is a little better than Kansas City's because I don't discount what Spags is doing with that defense. They're playing at a very high level. They were laying some wood on Buffalo the other night. They were busting people up. They will come after you. They will punch you in the mouth. And they are very well coached. So I'm not going to discount that. It's not like a mismatch on defense. And then weapons. Obviously, Lamar got him some new toys this year, and he's taken advantage of his new toys. But he lost Mark Andrews. That was his big security blanket. Maybe Mark will contribute a little here and there this Sunday. We're not sure about that. And Patrick doesn't have Tyreek now, and yet he went and won a Super Bowl without Tyreek. And all of a sudden, Rashee Rice is starting to rise and shine. And wait a second, maybe he can play. And all of a sudden, Kelce kind of came back to late season life. And it's starting to look like Travis Kelce, the greatest pass catching tight end ever. So it's going to be a heavyweight battle. And I think Lamar is going to win it. But right here, right now, I can't argue Lamar over Patrick until you show me that you can outplay and beat Patrick face to face, head to head in an AFC Championship game.
Well, that's why they play the game.
And
that's why they play the game.
This is his Frank Sinatra moment. This here, right now.
I hear you.
This is his Frank Sinatra moment. Because what Lamar Jackson has always said is, I'm doing it my way. I'm doing it my way. I'm doing it my way. And he's doing it his way. He came in saying, all right, I'm a running back, however y'all want to place it. He said, give me more to work with in the passing game. And for years, they did not. And this year, they decided to. But remember, he's on the market. And they made it because they knew about the guarantee money. Nobody wants Lamar Jackson. What do you think this man was stewing on? All of that moment, all of that time. And then Todd Monken comes in and says, I want you to grab a hold of this offense. They draft a receiver that he wanted in Zay Flowers. This now, he's taking ownership of it all. He's getting what Patrick Mahomes had all the time. Now he has to say, I got what you had. This is my Frank Sinatra moment. I'm going to show you I did it my way. He will be the first. Let's be real here. He will be the first. He will be the first. Doug Williams won at first as a black quarterback, but this will be the first running quarterback to win a Super Bowl. He will bring across his style to the regular. That's what this is. We haven't had it. Mike, the Donovan McNabbs that got there, the Colin Kaepernicks we just talked about, they never came up in victory lane. And he has to go over the monster of Patrick Mahomes to really have what he wants on this glory walk that he is taking to complete it. This is his Frank Sinatra moment. He has to take it.
You know, Skip, to, the question, whatever, but you can phrase it a lot of different ways, right? If you go back and you look at Patrick Mahomes in college and Jackson in college, and I don't know how so many executives that consider themselves, big-time executives that know football didn't see Lamar at Louisville and be able to forecast the transition that he was going to be able to make to the National Football League. When you look at Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech, I mean, you saw him. You watched the Big 12. You know what that was. That was just like, oh, he's a good quarterback. Yeah. Okay, he's fine. You didn't see where he was going to be with Andy Reid. You just did not see that. Lamar Jackson at Louisville, you certainly saw dynamic playmaking ability. But when you are short-sighted and you have a P for a brain and you watching him, you start thinking about, oh, maybe he can move the defensive back. Oh, maybe he can move to this. No, he could always play the quarterback position. The difference was he wasn't as big as Cam Newton, but he threw the ball better than Cam Newton in college. But Cam Newton was big. So it was hard to tell him, who's Cam Newton? Won't you transition to something else? Lamar was tall, lanky, and slight, but dynamic. Okay, Bobby Petrino had him making dynamic passing plays. So if you go back and you look at those two in college, right, Skip, and compare the two, I'm taking Lamar Jackson in the draft before I am Patrick Mahomes. That's just my eye test telling me from what I saw in both of them playing a lot of college football. But some people didn't see it that way. Now, you're talking about the number one and number two quarterbacks in the National Football League. That's what you're talking about.
Right. But Key, when they were coming out, we were still a little rough here in making sure we mold players into that old NFL style. That's why we even assessed Lamar Jackson as such. Now today they don't have these.
But that's their fault, though, Michael.
Today, I understand, but that's why we're seeing the transition of a lot of these older coaches leaving the league and a lot of these younger coaches who build offenses for these same players in college coming into the league because that's what the league is becoming. That's why I went back to Jim Harbaugh being able to help even and have more knowledge about what's happening now in the league because he's coming from college where it all goes down and where it's just been happening. That's more just icing on his cake as he comes in here. You just got to remember that. This is a different time. And guys came in and said, okay, we will take a chance with Lamar Jackson and give him a chance. We will start taking a chance with a Cam Newton to build an offense around a Jalen Hurts and all of these guys because now they can sustain. We before was trying to fit them into a drop-back passer and take away their greatest gift. I used to always say, do y'all really believe if Peyton Manning or Tom Brady could run like y'all, that they wouldn't take off sometimes? It ain't that they don't want to run. They wish they could run. They just can't run. So now you got to learn what they know and then use that running. And Lamar is doing that this year, and that's the scary part.
At the highest level. So, Keyshawn, one quick point of order. Did Steve Young qualify as a running quarterback?
Steve, in the NFL or in college?
But he starts out in the what was it called, the USFL?
Oh well, see, I saw Steve
Tampa
play.
Bay Bandit.
I saw Steve play. I saw Steve play for BYU and the LA Express, and there was no such thing as a running quarterback, even though he ran. So, and then I obviously saw him and played against him when he was with the 49ers. There was no conversation as a running quarterback. That conversation as a running quarterback was only one guy that they talked about.
I understand.
And that was Randall Cunningham. He was a passing quarterback to me that can run.
I understand. Right. It was just funny to me. Obviously, Steve Young wasn't a black quarterback, but he came out as a quote-unquote running quarterback, and then it got sort of coached out of him. You can't. And by the time Michael started to have to deal with Steve Young, he was mostly a throwing quarterback, and I never thought he was a quarterback that could run.
But he was a throwing quarterback. He was a throwing quarterback for Lavelle at BYU, though. He threw the football, but he could also run it.
He did.
Right. But that's but both of you guys, that's a great comp here. That's a great comp here in this sense. Now, Steve didn't have the doubt, honestly, because of the skin color, and and to be honest, and nobody thought, well, that dude, but Steve could run. Y'all can stop playing. I watched this dude carry dude on the back. Steve could run. I was like, ooh, and even his passing game, he developed when he was different in the USFL than he was when he got to this West Coast offense, and he watched Joe Montana, and he learned that system and then added the running on. So that's why I say it was that's a great comp when you talk ability to ability.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.